Greetings, Cleveland, and welcome to Creative Focus, the show that illuminates some of Cleveland's most creative artists across the genres of film, dance, music, theater, and visual arts. I'm your host, Cornell Calhoun III, and I am thrilled to have on my show today vocalist, actress, artist, the queen of song, Miss Christina Johnson. Queen, welcome to Creative Focus. Let's chop it up, girl.
Hello, hello, hello.
I'm gonna put you on the spot right from the opening.
Okay.
Flex those golden pipes. Just come on. Just give me a couple lines. Just give me a couple lines. Come on.
Okay. Love don't know me. Love don't know my name. Love don't know me. Love don't know my game. I'm just a wild night breeze, sweet mistress, begging please.
Who wrote that?
You did.
Love it. So we haven't been together since Ma Rainey. Just an incredible performance that you gave in Ma Rainey at Caramel House.
And you as well.
Oh, thank you. And you just got finished doing The Color Purple at Weather Vane.
I did.
How was that? Tell me about that.
It was
production.
great. It was great. It was very well received. I got a chance to be on stage with some very, very, very talented actors, so it was a great time.
And our friend directed it?
Yes, Richard Morris.
Richard Morris.
Yes.
So tell me how all those creative juices came to be. I mean, you know, you're an artist, you're an actress, you're a vocalist. I mean, you're just a multi-talented, you know, that's why I keep you with me. Tell me how all that came to be.
I don't know. I think since a kid, I've always been submerged in artistic things, not necessarily on stage. You know, singing has been my whole life through church. You know, even in school, doing things in school. But those artistic things begin at home. My mother was an extremely creative woman, that all of my siblings came out with these artistic talents. So I'd say it started right at home.
Do you think that, because you know we got a connection, we got that Glenville connection, because you grew up in Glenville, went to Glenville High School, I taught at Glenville, coached the girls' basketball team. Do you think growing up in the Glenville neighborhood influenced any of your artistic talents?
Absolutely. I think growing up in any urban area is a beautiful combination of beauty and pain. And where you have beauty and pain, you definitely have art.
Do you remember the first time you stepped on stage?
I do. I definitely do. I did a play called Geminina, which was a space-age Cinderella, which was my first thing on stage, to be in front of people like that.
Now, how old were you during that time?
Oh my God, I think I was probably in the 4th grade.
4th grade. Mm-hmm. What inspires you like to want to be on stage? I mean, you know, because just for me, you know, I used to love to act. Now I'm more into the directing aspect, the writing aspect. But there's that moment when you step on stage that unless you're a performer, you can't even describe. Verbalize that for me in terms of for you.
Well, we all know that there's a undeniable energy, a fuel, a charge that you get just when the lights hit. There's that charge you get, this undeniable, and to be able to, when you really think about it, being able to use yourself to be the brush, to paint those pictures of life, to paint those illuminations so that people can see things clearly and to be able to think clearly. It's a beautiful feeling to bring good things to life.
I can recall attending a play entitled The Whipping Man, and something that I've never actually seen on stage, where once the play was over, the entire audience rose as one, and you could see how that affected the actors, the performers. There were only 3 performers in this production, and you could see how emotional they were from the audience, because this was at the Cleveland Playhouse, and it was like 500 people, sold out. So 500 people rose as one. Have you ever experienced anything like that? Because we got a couple standing ovations for Ma Rainey, but I mean, Vermont, what's that like?
I don't know if you could actually put that into words, because it's almost like, because there's a duality there. Like, okay, you completing what you need is your own success. But when you can see that the audience got it, they respected it, they enjoyed it, that's a whole nother thing. Like, I did it and I did my job well. So I don't know if I could put it into words, except for I did my job well.
Give me most memorable performance that you recall, that you felt, you know what, I nailed it. I nailed it. I know I got that, and I got the audience.
Okay. I'll take it back to a play that I did called "And Her Hair Went With Her." I think the author of that play is Zena Chamberlain, and in that show, it's a 2-woman show, and in that show, each woman played 4 different characters, which means some of your costume changes were right on stage, right at the moment. And these characters were very, very different. Very different. None of them were similar, so that they had to overlap. There had to be great thought put into distincting these characters that are you, that the audience seeing you change your wig, that to make that difference happen. And I didn't have a long time to study the script. So it was like, okay, can I do this? Can I be these people? Can I make it seem real? Can I, it was actually what actually helped jolt my acting career, because it was one of the biggest challenges that I've ever had. And the payoff every night, because I played a woman that had a bit of an identity crisis and thought she was white. I played an elderly lady that snapped in and out of reality. I also played the shop owner who was mentoring a younger stylist. And then I played a convict in jail, very masculine, a killer. So every day after the show, the audience would come up and be like, well, where's the young lady that played the lady in jail? And they would do it every time. Like, you're sitting here watching me, you see my face, but every night there would be someone that walks up and say, where's the other lady? I wanted to see the other lady to tell her how good she did. And I'm like, so I think that's one of my greatest moments, to have people really challenging. Okay, I see you, and you giving the accolades. Yes, but where's the other lady? That was like that meant that those characters were very distinct and different. So I enjoyed that probably the most.
Well, was Ashley Aquila in that show?
Yes.
And who was the director?
Leslie Wright.
And it was a camera, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I missed that. I missed that show. I missed that.
Yes.
If you had a dream character to portray, who would she be, and why?
And see, that's interesting, because I am someone that has been actually afforded the opportunity to play some of my dream characters, a lot of them. So when I say now, looking at the actor I am now, somebody that can embody the comedy within me, the mother in me, the artist in me, that can take those shifts and turns and be big, just big. The depth of, in serious roles, complicated ones, but can also grab that comedy portion. I think one of the things that people haven't got to see a lot on stage is the real comedy. So it may sound weird, but those are the things that I think are great.
What do you enjoy most about performing?
The challenges. With every performance, I try to challenge myself to do something different, to be bigger in a different way. So the challenges is what I love the most.
And how do you prepare for, because you get these monster roles, you don't get the little bitty roles, you get the monster roles. So how do you prepare for a role that is just like for example, like Sophia, a prominent role in a play that people are familiar with. You know, it's one thing to do a play, a new play, but a play that everyone's familiar with. It's sort of like The Mighty Scarabs. Like, you know, people say, well, you know, you wrote The Mighty Scarabs, but I had to get it right because 80% of it was factual and people remember. So how's the preparation go for a magnetic role like that?
Well, just like you said, it's the facts. So, of course, first we go through the studying, finding out about the culture of the time, finding about roles in society. You know, for that role specifically, you had to figure out that, you know, women didn't have as much liberation as we do now. So figuring out from the mindset to things that we did with our bodies, you know, just expressing ourselves, and even in Sophia's case, breaking the rules. So we had this set of what women were doing, how they spoke, how they act, how they react. But then there's a character like Sophia, it's the rule breaking. It's the rule breaking. So just knowing who that character is, knowing what the time is, knowing what you want that character to portray. And then in your time is, of course, it's getting quiet. Sometimes, you know, you have to, well, most times you have to shut the world off to soak that stuff in, to soak those lines in, to be almost to the point you have to make sure you don't respond that way in your real life, because you're trying to make sure that you nail that character down.
Okay, so as an actress in film and theater, what differences do you see, and do you have a preference? Does it matter to you, or you know, which one would you enjoy most, or it doesn't matter? You're a performer.
It really matters, but if I had to choose a preference, while I enjoy film, there's a reward in audience. Being able to feel that energy and soak that in. There is a reward in having people, you know, when it's a film, you have to hear about it later. Right, exactly. You can feel the audience's emotions when you're on stage, and that's a different feeling. That's the feeling that we were talking about that's undescribable, to be able to feel that. You see it, you hear it, but there's a feeling that's in the house.
And since you're so multi-talented, is there a preference, vocalist, actress, does it matter? Artist, does it matter to you?
At this point in my life, I would say no, because I really, really want to use all of the gifts and talents that I have been given. There's just as much satisfaction as finishing a painting and saying, okay, wow, that is what it is, and hearing someone speak of what you thought as you were painting and they get it, as it is on stage or hearing a song. It's all rewarding in the same way. It's even when I make jewelry. It's even, I'm a hairstylist, so it's even in finishing, creating, and the creativity that when we, you know, even as African Americans, we're kind of creative in hair. We do a lot of things that are, you know, we got patterns and traces in our hair, and that's art in itself. So I love it all.
Okay, so we're going to take a moment and watch you in a clip from The Dangerous House of Mookie Wilson. So here's a clip of Christina at the Dobama Theater, I think 2017.
I like that. You may not take me to Paris, and we probably won't see Rome, but this man, he's so good to me that wherever we are feels like home. That's why I love it with Paris. He's the one I call my own. Won't stop loving with his, but it's him and him alone.
Queen of Song. What do you remember most about that performance, The Dangerous House of Mookie Wilson? We had a standing room crowd. Remember, they turned about 50 people away.
They did. It was the twists and turns and drama of it all. You know, at every moment there was a peak of something else happening. So I love the drama involved.
I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to share a secret with you. Our friend Joseph Billups is going to do a film. We're going to do a film of The Dangerous House of Mookie Wilson.
Now that's going to be good. That's going to be real good.
All right,
That's gonna be real
let's flip the script a bit, and let's talk about the visual art aspect of your talents. And we are lucky to have some of your artwork on the set of Creative Focus. So if someone wanted to get in touch with you concerning your art, what's the best way to do that?
Well, of course they can contact you because you know how to get me.
That's right, that's right.
But social media platforms, I'm Christina Johnson on Facebook, CJ Working Hard on Instagram. If you want to email me, it's christina.johnson1077@gmail.com. Any of those ways you can get me, reach me.
Give us those again, one more time for the audience.
Christina Johnson on Facebook, CJ with no G, CJ Working Hard on Instagram, and also you can email me at christina.johnson1077@gmail.com.
Great. So let's talk about your artwork. So is there a title for the piece there?
This one is From the Waters Lifted Me.
From the Waters Lifted Me. Wow. And what was the inspiration for that, Christina?
Well, I have recently had a roller coaster of events happening in my life, some tragic, and I was searching for freedom. I was searching for a release. I was searching for some peace. And all that I could keep hearing in my head was, from the waters lifted me, now safe am I. And they're birthed from the waters.
Hit that again, that's beautiful.
From the waters lifted me, now safe am I.
And what about the two behind me?
The first one with the jewels is untitled. The second one is My Chocolate Blues.
My Chocolate Blues.
And that stems from, there's a beauty in being a Black woman, and there's a burden. And all that you think when you hear that, My Chocolate Blues.
Very good, very good, very good. So, as a visual artist, are there certain colors, patterns, I know very little about visual art that artists use? I mean, do you have a preference, or you just, how does that work when you create like that? Do you have a vision? Do you have colors in mind, or it happens once you get started?
I think it's both. I think sometimes you have a vision, and it's those broad colors, it's those things that help tell the story. And then sometimes I think as you're painting, you also get beautiful mistakes. So sometimes you choose the color, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you just wing it and see what's happening. And that's the pure beauty of art.
And how would you define success as a visual artist? I mean, when we're performing, we understand success. We can get reviews. We can go by the audience response. Is it the same with visual art, the success?
I feel like visual art success is very personal to me, because if you stayed true to your vision, and I think the success comes in completing it. Because sometimes you don't know when it's complete. Sometimes you're coming back day after day adding. I saw something different. Another idea hits you and you're coming back to it. So I think it's in staying focused and then actually getting to the completion of it. That's the success. So it doesn't really, in any kind of art, there are going to be opinions. Some like, some don't, and that's okay. But in art, I just feel it's a little different, because This is my personal work. So what I decided to display and portray, that is what it is. It couldn't be any better.
Okay. And I know the audience probably would like to hear, how, as a visual artist, do you put a price on something? Is it based upon how much supplies you use? Is it based upon your hours of working on the easel? I mean, is it based upon your imagination, and you put a price on it? So, because a lot of times you'll go in a gallery and you'll look at a piece of art, and that art piece may be praised at say $1,000, and in your mind, I mean, in my mind, I've always said, how did they get to $1,000? I don't have $1,000, but so how do you determine what you're going to charge for a piece of art?
It's all that. It's your time, it's your supplies, but only you can say what your worth is. Only you can say what you want that to be purchased for. Only you can say if this is something I wanted to give as a gift. So you place your worth on you.
Who are some visual artists that you admire?
I mean, and I admire a lot. First and foremost is my brother. My brother is a visual artist, a illustrator for books, and he is where I really got some of my, I'm going to show you how to do this, you can do it this way, and being very encouraging still every step of the way. But if you look at things that everybody would know, people like Augusta Savage, the sculptor, Laura Willing Waring, now that's a tongue twister for me, but great African-American artists all the way down to today, right here in our own city, the young artists like Christina Lee, I don't want to be saying it wrong, but she is amazing. So I love it all. When I see it, I can grab something from some of everywhere. So from way back in 1800 and whatever to right now today in Cleveland, I am appreciative to all of these artists.
Have you ever visualized having a performance on stage and using art along with your performance?
Oh yeah, and it's coming. It's coming. I really want to be able to have, I think it's special when you allow people to come into your world, to step into your world of all of those things that's going on. And sometimes your joy can be somebody else's joy, so yes.
Do you believe art influences other areas in a person's life?
For me, absolutely.
And how?
Absolutely.
How would you say?
Art in the aspect of, we'll take theater and acting, and having to actually dissect a character and dissect emotions has helped me through some rough spots in my own personal life. With that dissecting of character, I begin to dissect myself on multiple occasions. So it's used not just for the people, it's for yourself too. You're gaining every step of the way. Talking about a mother's love, I got a chance to do Objectively Reasonable, which is a story about Tamir Rice. And I played Samaria Rice, directed by Terrence Spivey. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things that when I first saw the news flashes of what had happened, he was around the same age as my child. And you're in the middle of the night, you left your TV on and you wake up, the image almost looked like my child for a minute and it startled me. And then it's me and the type of person that I am, I'm like, oh my God, it could be my child. It could be my child. So a mother's love and connecting with another mother, it helped me take paths down my mother journey. How I wanted to make sure that I had showed all the love to my child, how I wanted him to know certain things, how I wanted him to to hear what I was trying to instill in him. So it gets personal. It gets personal when you have to do certain roles.
So what can we expect next from Christina Johnson? What's on the horizon?
Of course, you'll get more shows, more visual art, because I'm not going to stop until I can't. But you'll see, of course, a show like what you're talking about with the visual art, the singing, the poetry, the monologues, all wrapped into one, just to have a Here's a Night with Christina. And you'll see that a couple different ways. Recently, I've been in conversation about finishing some studio work that I left incomplete years ago, but it's time to finish it now.
That first one sounds like something that I'm creating. Queens.
Yes, yes. I want to even say thank you. I have been privileged to work with some amazing people around Cleveland, and you being one of them. You being one of the directors that challenged me. You being one of the directors that made me stay in my script, that made me be responsible for the character that I had to deliver. So it's a privilege that you, a person that's seasoned and has had well training around the art world, would even look to me and say, hey, I can entrust you with this kind of work. So yes, involving you, and we're ready.
Well, no, I appreciate that, because I would never do a show without you. The only time I'll do a show without you is if you're not available.
That's a huge compliment. It really is. It really
Thank you so much for being on the show. My guest, Christina Johnson, hanging out with me today on Creative Focus. Love you, girl. Love you. And we got great things to do. So that's it, Cleveland. We're out. But remember, a true artist is not only inspired, but inspires others. Until the next time becomes our time. Cleveland, be well, be safe.